It's the Infectious Groove Podcast, recorded at the 33 and 3rd Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Now here's your host.
Here's something I meant to ask before we started. What are we on now? 22? Is this episode 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Oh, yeah, because you did Blackjack last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. In the show description.
Yeah.
So hello and welcome to episode 22 of the Infectious Groove Podcast. We have quite a barn burner for a topic today, and I actually don't know where you guys stand on a lot of what I want to talk about, so that's pretty cool. You know, like coming into this, like, I just don't want to sit here and listen to a bunch of people being like, yep, I agree, let's move on, you know. So
I concur.
Yeah, for me, it's cool to go into it like that. So we are going to talk about music and politics, which has always been a big thing for at least the last 50 years or so, but right now is obviously getting, a lot more attention with everything going on in the world. So, so that will be quite fun. So we are going to go right into our regular segments.
Music news.
I think there's just the one thing going on, right?
Yeah, man. Garth Brooks is doing his drive-in concert series thing. It sold the hell out.
Like, I'm a huge Garth fan, and I had no real clue how that was going to go.
Yeah.
Like, I literally was like, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, we just looked it up right before the show. It was
50,000 cars in 2 hours. Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah,
so we have to make sure to bring a blanket and pillow for Michelle, but...
$100 bucks a car. Do the math.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be awesome. Like
hell yeah.
I mean, for everyone except for Michelle, it's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah, I'll be at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Where you want to be anytime Garth Brooks is playing. I'm just so puzzled by that. But whatever. I have to move on, or else
you have to respect my opinion.
Wait, say that again. Can you spell it?
Which part?
Let's move on.
RESPECT.
So I'm just going to forget that whole part of that happened. I don't even know what that means. So having said that, here's what we're listening to. For me, I have busted out that Kelly Clarkson record again.
I saw that.
That is such a perfect pop record other than the one terrible song. Yep, Whole Lotta Woman is awful. But I actually let it play last night for the first time in a long time, that song, and I love the sentiment of the song, and the lyrics are just so dumb that it bums me out. Like, I wish that the message of the song was relayed with better lyrics than that song has. Other than that, though, damn it, that record is so good. I wish more people would listen to that album.
Yeah.
Like, every song on it, other than the one, it's just killer. Like, I Don't Think About You is the best ballad she'll ever do. Like, I don't think she'll ever top that song. And there's a ton of other great things where she steps outside of her comfort zone, like, that don't just sound like a normal Kelly Clarkson record.
Yeah, I agree.
But if anybody wants to look into it, and I'm certain we're going to put tracks from it on our Spotify playlist this week, but it's called Meaning of Life, and I blind bought it the day it came out because I did not like the last 3 or 4 records that she did, and I saw it, and I didn't even know it was coming out, and I saw it at Dearborn Music, and I literally picked up the record and thought to myself, all right, I'm going to give you one more try. Like, this is going to be probably the last record I ever buy from you.
Yeah.
Had no idea about it at all, brought it home, put the record on, and was just blown away. Like, started telling everyone that would listen to me.
And you haven't stopped telling everyone.
And I continue to tell everyone. So, in any case, that's what, literally, I've been zeroed in on that one record. What have you been listening to, Kyle?
It's been like a 90-10 split this week. 90% being the Teskey Brothers.
Yeah, you sent me that.
Yeah,
yes,
so I listened to a few more tracks off that same record.
For people who have listened to the show previously, it's like if you've listened to like St. Paul and the Broken Bones, it's kind of that flavor, like a new
it just
gospel soul type sound.
It sounds old.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. To me, it's refreshing. Yeah, I got hooked real quickly. And then I was dicking around on YouTube.
Oh, that's weird. Nobody watches YouTube.
I know. And I found a fan-made EP of Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's called There's Beauty in the Patience. And it's obviously lyrics from other records he's done, and it's mixed with like sometimes like Tupac is on it with him, and like it's just like this revolutionary like record for everything that's going on currently.
That's cool.
And it's to different beats and whatnot. But like,
am I wrong? Didn't I read this week that he said he's retiring or I think it was
something
Kendrick Lamar
happened with Twitter and him.
Yeah,
and they like
that can describe almost every celebrity. Something happened with Twitter and that person.
There is word talking about how they essentially put the kibosh on him being able to put out a new record or something like that, and like the politics of whatever's going on.
Could even be a Prince situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, so it was 90%. Was it Teskey Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's how you say it, that's how it's spelled.
Well, that's how we're going to say it. Well, I also mispronounced Susan Tedeschi for the first 20 years that I was a fan.
What is it?
It's Susan Tedeschi.
Yeah, how did you say it?
Tedeschi. Because it looks like Tedeschi.
Oh.
Yeah. And then a friend of mine who knows the family, because of they have like a deli or something in his town where she's from. Mm-hmm. And he was like, could you stop saying that? It's Tedeschi. And then I heard when the Tedeschi Trucks Band got started, like when I heard them introduced and stuff, they'd be like, and now the Tedeschi Truck Band. And I would be like, yeah, Tedeschi. Tedeschi
I've
Truck.
always said it that way.
So anyways, it's Teskey, we think, right? So,
as far as I'm concerned, the only place to find
Sounds podcast.
the only place to find that Kendrick Lamar thing is on YouTube, because it's some random person that did it. But it's been catching a little bit publicity on like the music blogs and whatnot that I've run across. But it's badass, and it fits the time perfectly.
Cool. Well, hell, I'll take a listen. What jams do you have, Michelle?
I need you to say that with a little more enthusiasm.
What jams do you have, Michelle? Geez, I'll tell you what. I woke up this morning and I said to myself, Michelle's going to have all the jams. And here we are now. Michelle, what jams do you have?
I have been on an artist kick lately, which is weird for me. It's usually just like specific one songs. I've been listening to Ludacris nonstop for like a week.
All right.
Can confirm.
Luda who?
Ludacris?
Luda? Oh, hell. At least the one skit that you like is on Spotify. It's not.
It is?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's not on vinyl, but it's on Spotify.
I just put on Spotify and just put on Ludacris, and it just shuffled through everything. Yeah. And that's it. There's not one that I'm like really digging this week, but just
Luda's one of those
constantly.
dudes that when he dipped into acting, I'm like real bummed that he doesn't put out rap on a regular basis. Like a lot of times I'm like, okay, that's fine, you can do one or the other, but with him,
that's what I was telling her when we were listening to it in the car, is that like he had his heyday where he was like super popular, but he is super underrated as a lyricist nowadays. So. Like he's still like, man, and
fire. I think one thing too though is that he isn't out, I don't know how to say this right, like he isn't out attention seeking all the time, you know what I mean? Like you don't hear about him like, he's not dating a Kardashian, he's not like always on TMZ, you know what I mean? So like and maybe that is what holds him back a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I would rather the art be better.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but his last record he put out was called Burning Bridges.
Yeah.
And damn, that
as in Chris Bridges?
Yeah. So I think he was just saying bye to his old, but he, man.
I still think the Red Light District is one of the most underrated rap records.
Oh, absolutely!
Ever.
Yeah,
it's so good, and it just went like almost completely unnoticed. Like I think number one spot was a big hit.
Yeah.
But the rest of the record is so good.
He's on my bucket list to see in concert.
Oh
if
I would totally go see Luda.
Tours again.
Listening to that in the car actually spun into a whole different conversation where I was like, oh man, like Pharrell and the Neptunes produced the shit out of this record, and she's like, he produced this, and I was like, hell yeah, and then we went into a whole big thing about Pharrell and the Neptunes and what they did, and I
think you like NERD better than I do, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know how much you like them, but I like them. I like
them 5%.
Out of 100?
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of which, you're never gonna believe this, but we were during the course of the music night last night, the topic of your scoring system came up.
I don't believe you.
And it's been decided that you must be scoring these records on a 1 to 5 scale, and that's how Pet Sounds.
You cracked my code.
That's how Pet Sounds got a 7, because it's so much better than 5, and that's how.
I did not give it a 5.
It came up.
Oh, I gave it a 7.
Yeah, it came up because of Tapestry. I was like, well, she rated Tapestry 5.5, and the person said out of 5, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe that's her scoring system. Is that your scoring system?
You'll never know.
Oh man. All right. Well, we've got quite a big deal to discuss. It's going to take up a good amount of our time and energy here, so we are going to move on.
It's time for the Infectious Groove Podcast. Main topic of discussion.
I'm actually excited that we don't have an interview to share this week, like so we can like stretch out on the topic, you know, because the last couple of weeks I've been like, oh crap, we gotta kind of cut it short.
Yeah, it gets cramped trying to fit everything in.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as music and politics go, like I say, for at least the last 50 years, it's gone almost hand in hand, I think, you know. So I think we all agree on the first question that I want to ask, but, you know, I'll ask it to the audience too, is, you know, what's your opinion on music and politics? Like, are you one of those people that thinks that artists should just shut up and sing? Or do you think that if you have a voice or a platform, you should go ahead and use it? Like, I'll go to you first, Kyle. Like, what do you think people should share their opinion?
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Simply put, Rage Against the Machine. I just anything.
Well, now hold on, because Rage is like they're meant to be a political act, right? What I'm talking about is, you know,
like in general,
just Ariana Grande is singing about bubblegum pop.
Yeah, still,
should she also say, I feel this way about this?
Yeah, if you got a damn platform and you're speaking and you can talk to the masses and sway someone's opinion and make it heard or expose things that are going on, absolutely you should.
Okay, and then Michelle,
I agree. I feel like it can go the opposite way though. Like, I feel like some people can use that for evil, but I feel like the majority of people don't, so.
Well, and that was one thing that when I was making my notes for the show, I was thinking about it, is like, and maybe it's probably just an arts thing, but like, outside of like Nugent or Kid Rock, I can't think of anybody who like really champions right-wing views in music. Like,
those are the main two, I feel,
Yeah, and Nugent doesn't even do it in his music, like his for the most part. Like, let me put it this way, any hit anyone knows by Ted Nugent is about women's body parts. It's not. It's nothing to do with. It's nothing to do with politics. But when you go to a Nugent show, before he plays Stranglehold, you got to hear 10 minutes about, you know, how everything Republicans do is wonderful, and then he plays.
So I guess I will say that I respect that they use their platform and they can say whatever they want politically, and I like that they can do that, but it also turns me off to an artist that if they do it to an extent. Like, if I had to go to
whether you agree with the opinions or not.
Yeah, like if I'm going to a live show and if Ted Nugent was like, I'm going to talk 10 minutes about Republicans, like it's just not.
Okay, well let me flap that the other way then. Okay. Like, you would never go to a Roger Waters concert, but Roger Waters is going to tell you for 10 minutes about how Republicans are wrong. So would you deal with it because you agree with it at the Waters show and not at the Nugent because you disagree with it? Or I'm not saying one's right or wrong.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just feel, and I'm not just being like, I'm just here for the music, so shut up and play. But like, at some point, like, you can't spend that much time.
Yeah, and Waters uses a lot of visuals too, though. Like, he'll do like a song where the lyrics are very political, and then in the background, it's very much telling you what his opinion is.
And if you have political lyrics, like, you know what you're getting into. But like, if I were to, like you said, go to an Ariana Grande show and she spent a half hour talking about how Donald Trump was bad, I'd be like, I mean, like, okay, you know, we got it, you know. But also at the same time, like, I appreciate that you can do that. You know, that artists can use their social status and to get messages out to the masses.
I think people nowadays are less afraid to do that too, because everyone can put out their own music and do their own thing.
They are, and we'll get into it in the second half. But there's also the cancel culture they're worried about.
Yeah, that's totally true.
You know,
but like, I think that people are more apt to speak out now because they, in a roundabout way, have more control over what they're doing themselves.
Right.
They don't have to rely solely on a record label.
I think some publicists wish that their artists did not have access to their own Twitter accounts.
You know? I'm sure. Yeah.
But one thing I was going to say about artists and speaking out and whatnot was there was a reporter who tried really hard to corner Elvis one time to try and get him to like speak on politics, and Elvis was like, I don't do that. Like, my job is to sing and entertain people, and I don't do that. And the reporter was getting like pretty frustrated with Elvis that he wouldn't say anything, so he started to kind of take it toward like trying to get Elvis to insult John Lennon. And was like, well, what do you think about, you know, John Lennon tells everybody what he's thinking about politics all the time. You know, what should you, so you're saying he shouldn't do that? And Elvis got the coolest, like, I'm smarter than you smile on his face, you know, and he was like, that's not at all what I said. Like, I was talking about me singing my songs, and that's what I do, and what anybody else does is their business. You know, it's one of the only sit-down interviews he did in the 70s, and maybe the reason why he didn't do a lot more.
There you go.
You know, but I've always been cool with that, too. Like, if you don't, if that's your play, you know, if you're just like, look, I'm just here to sing songs, like, that's fine too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not overly concerned.
I do feel like from an artist just listening to their lyrics and following them around, what you're getting into with an artist 9 times out of 10. No, in general.
Yeah, but in the last couple of years, I found out that that's not even...
For music-wise, you usually can tell.
No, that's what I'm saying. You would think so.
Oh.
Okay, let me put it this way. When Roger Waters went on his last tour, this dude was doing a song from Pink Floyd's Animals, which came out in 77. It has the same lyrics today that it had in 1977.
What?
With lyrics like, hey, you White House, haha, charade you are. And, oh my God, it's just a scathing ass political song. This dude busted out on his last tour, and now all these Republicans are going crazy. And, how dare you? I didn't come to a Roger Waters show to get preached at. And what's with these political songs? Dude, the song came out in 1977, and he did not change the lyrics. The lyrics are the same lyrics that they were then.
I thought you meant that you couldn't figure it out from the lyrics, and I was like, that's very clear.
Have you ever known me to say ever? I don't know what that song's about. Like ever?
No, that's why I was so confused.
No, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You would think that, and I always thought that until the Roger Waters thing happened. And then there's some guy on Twitter who's all mad because he just figured out Rage Against the Machine.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, what did you think that they
Pink
were
is a good example
about?
of somebody I was talking about before, where like Pink has no political songs, but she's never held back her views on anything political, right?
Yeah.
And this dude is like, and Pink can go fuck herself too.
Yeah.
Like, what did you miss every interview she's ever done where they're like, hey, Pink, your new album came out, and she's like, yeah, and also gay rights. You know what I mean? Like, she'll just bring up her opinion in everything, and I'm not saying that's bad.
No,
but like, how did you miss that?
Yeah,
I think that also now with everyone having social media and like these artists can do things on their own, like they're not like scheduled interviews with the publicists on TV.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think some publicists are like, oh no, change the Twitter
like
password.
You're saying 9 times out of 10, you know what you're getting into with an artist because you hear about it, you see it on the internet.
Yeah.
In addition to hearing it in their lyrics or not, but like there's some artists like Pink who doesn't have political.
But then I don't get that about Rage. How do you not get that about Rage?
That must be the only guy who didn't get it. He didn't get the memo, I think.
Or and then there's the other thing too, where like maybe your own personal views changed. Like when you were a kid, you felt that you also raged against the machine, and now you have the money and the house and the boat and everything, and you're like, well, the machine's pretty okay with me.
Right.
Maybe let's just mildly be angry at the machine. And if that's fine too, but like you can't get mad at Tom Morello or Zach De La Rocha because of their opinion So my other question is, and this is kind of directed at Rage Against the Machine, but if an artist comes out and is political, do you think that they're required to stay that course, like that they should always be political? Well, here's why I'm asking. Because like Rage Against the Machine, that's unquestionably what brought them to the dance. Mm-hmm. Was like young people disenfranchised with Bush 1, and
I think with the band. I was like, what are you talking about?
Everyone that hates Gavin Rossdale.
Rage was fine with Everything's End, but then they put out Come Down, and Tom Morello had to put his foot down.
I was like, wait, there's a Bush too?
Yeah. And but that's what brought Rage to the dance, and they absolutely stayed on that course, and now I've been more than a little disappointed with them personally this year because they did that whole tour specific to speaking up against the current administration and voting out the current administration, and then when COVID happened and the tour went away, like, why is it just because they're not getting their $125 a seat that we don't hear anything from Rage?
So there's an artist that I feel the exact same way about, that I would be equally as disappointed if he stopped putting out the political content that he puts out, and that's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
If I don't want him, I don't want to hear a goody goody gumdrop, look at my cars, my money, any of that kind of shit from him. The reason I like him is because of he says fuck the man and exposes all the problems that the black community has and that kind of stuff. Okay,
because when we went down this path initially, she was like shaking her head no, like instantly, like no, they shouldn't have to say that, but I think you should, and that you're saying the same thing. Like if you're gonna make your name off of a political thing, like you can't turn around and put out 1989 like the Taylor Swift record. You know what I mean?
When you initially said that, I was like, no man, you can switch it up, but like I guess in some cases you could, like I could care less if Pink put out a political song and whatever, it wouldn't matter to me.
Right.
But there are certain artists like Kendrick Lamar that I mentioned that like it would definitely matter to me if he just all of a sudden decided to change course and become a totally different like martyr for whatever.
And what's weird for me is like Roger Waters. I would say Roger Waters is like 50% political, lyric based. A lot of what he does is social commentary that ends up being political because like the social climate is the way it is because of politics. You know, I would be fine if he leaned way more toward just the social commentary and didn't ever talk about politics again. But they're so closely married that I don't think he's ever going to. Yeah. But there's a lot of Pink Floyd fans that's what they came for. Yeah. And they would be mad if he didn't.
And see, it also goes differently, too, because, like, I'm a huge Kanye West fan, and one of my favorite albums that he ever put out was Jesus. And it was super, like, raw and gritty and political, and, you know, there's a song called Black Skinhead on there, and there's a song called Blood on the Leaves. And all these, like, racially motivated, like, you know, they don't care about black people songs.
But you would never think of Kanye overall as a political artist.
Right, and I don't, like, I love that coming out of him, and I also love his goody goody gumdrop, like the big hits he has too.
Yeah, but
like,
but again, what brought him to the dance was the former.
Yeah,
you know, he was known as just, you know, an average rapper that wasn't politically motivated.
Yeah, so that's interesting that like it's okay if they flip flop and go political if they didn't start out like that, but it's not okay to flip flop if you start out political. It's just weird. I don't know.
I guess that's my feeling is like if that's what brought you what you made your name on, you can't just turn around and be like, okay, well we don't so much care anymore.
It's not even that you don't care, though. I feel like we've talked about how an artist can grow and how it'll be different from their first record to their 8th record, and their sound changes and everything that they sing about changes. And I know I put it in the same category. Like if you don't want to sing about politics anymore and you want to do something else lyrically, as long as the sound is there for me, and it's not like I don't know. I feel like it's in the same category, and I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not as politically like I like Rage, but if they were to put something out that wasn't political, I'd be like, it's fine too.
What if they put out a brand new song tomorrow and it sounded like Dashboard Confessional?
That's not the sound though. Like so, like as long as they're like sounding the same and the lyrics are still, they don't have to be political, but they're still I don't know what the right word is. They're not dumb like you're talking about, like Whole Lotta Woman. They're not.
Oh, so you're admitting Whole Lotta Woman is dumb?
I said like you said.
Oh, damn it.
As long as it's the same
lyrical content,
kind of, yeah, then I don't have a problem with it. But like I said, I'm not really married to a lot of political artists to begin with. Like I like Rage, and I like Kendrick Lamar, and I like Kanye, and they're just kind of there for me. Like I'm not like following them on social media and buying their records. So
here's this: would you like Kendrick Lamar if he put out a song that was just like Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang?
Probably.
I don't think anybody would like that song.
Wait, isn't that already a song?
It is a song.
So why would he redo it?
No, I'm just saying, like that kind of shitty music. If he put that out, would you like him as much as you do already?
You're already calling him as shitty music. So like, no, I want him to continue doing what he's doing to begin with. I think Kendrick Lamar is a great lyricist. So like, if he's as long as it's about something that's not like I don't know, changing your underwear every morning. I don't really know.
I'm kind of flip-flopping here, like topic-wise, but one thing I want to go back and mention is when we were talking about people who don't realize what a song is about. I don't know if either of you know this, but Ronald Reagan sure didn't listen to the lyrics of a particular song in 1984 when he was doing his run for president. I don't know if you've ever closely listened to the lyrics of the song Born in the USA, but it's not a pro-USA song.
No?
It's literally, and I am being serious, I don't know if you guys have ever like really listened to the lyrics, but the lyrics of the song are basically about forgotten veterans. You go overseas, you fight for this country, you know, possibly give your life for it, and then you come home and you're treated like shit. And the point of the lyrics is, but I was born in the USA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I should be something special. And so Ronald Reagan was like, hey, I'm going to use it from a...
He just heard born and then USA. Yeah, was like, oh, me!
Yeah, it was like America, you know? And that's happened with other things, too. Like, there's literally been, like, Republicans who have tried to license Pink Floyd songs, and it's like,
there was something...
You don't get it, though.
There was something recently, a few years back, before Trump got elected, somebody had used a song that was not in context for whatever the hell they were doing. I can't remember who it was.
That was so interesting. Will you tell that story again?
Yeah. Now you have to re-listen.
The thing that kills me, and you guys both know this about me, I'm not saying this for the safety net of the show or anything, but like I don't politic. Like I don't, I don't. So I'm not trying to offend anybody on either side when I say this, but I think it's truly hilarious every time Trump tries to play any song at his rally, the artist is always like, nope.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, like REM is probably the nicest four guys to ever walk the earth, and they're always like, no. We are totally okay with anyone on earth playing that song but you, and like the dude needs to go to he needs to start playing like row, row, row your boat or something like
the public domain songs.
Yeah,
I think Happy Birthday's available now.
Yeah, I think it is now, which makes that episode of Sports Night outdated now.
Yep.
But that type of stuff, I just don't like. Here's an example of something I can think of for an artist who I don't think necessarily went way away from politics in the short time that they were a group, but NWA. Like the first record is a social statement, but it's also very political.
Yeah.
And then just kind of, especially like Dre's never said one word about politics in his material.
See, and that's
Easy
so weird
and I
because
think Cube is
he absolutely
probably the only one that really stayed.
All of his records are fuck the man, all of them.
Well, you can't have a record called America's Most Wanted with 3 Ks in it.
With 3 Ks.
It's it's like America and then KKK in the middle of America. You can't really put that out and not be expected to be.
So
political.
you're right. Like I don't know what they all went their separate directions, but then also Cube did write a lot of the music for NWA, so maybe that's why it was like that to begin with.
And Dre was a producer.
Yeah.
And so Dre was like, "Well, I'm just going to produce these new songs over here."
Who knows?
For those of you unfamiliar with their backstory, that's not exactly how it happened. It was not acrimonious. It was not like, "Oh, I'm going to produce these songs." Oh, okay. Well, you go ahead, Andre. Wasn't like that at all. But yeah, there's things like that like I think that's totally okay, and Cube probably absolutely was the reason why they were so politically.
I never thought about that until just now talking about that.
Wait, has he just shortened his name to Cube now?
I just call him Cube. We go back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we go back. Mm-hmm. But then the other one too is like Ice-T was really political on the first, or not the first record, the second or third.
Oh, and he progressed to playing a police officer on a TV show.
You mean like when someone does too many scratches? But like, for those of you who don't know, you should watch John Mulaney's stand up. I think it's in New in Town is the Law and Order thing.
I think so.
There's a very good bit about Ice-T being playing a police officer. But like so OG is like a very political record. Yeah. So we don't break an F-word record here. I won't exactly quote it, but there's a song on there. There's almost a tone poem called "You Should Have Killed Me Last Year," where he's literally like F the police, F the CIA, F Bush, F like he literally. It's just him listing off how many different people can go F themselves, and so it was very political. And then like the next couple of records that he put out, like Body Count became his political statement, obviously, with Cop Killer and the whole controversy there. So, but yeah, it was weird to me that when people do that, when they shift out of it. But I guess maybe Ice-T didn't come to the dance with that either. Like,
that's even more weird to me that he put out a song called Cop Killer and then proceeded to play one on TV for the last 15 years.
All right, well, and we've got quite a bit more to discuss here in the second half, which I think will be pretty fun. So we will go ahead and take ourselves a quick break and come back, and we're going to talk more about not just political opinions, but like social statements and things that artists say. So should be a good one. Stick with us. All right, we're back, and we are talking music and politics. And like I said, I was expecting the conversation that we had in the first half. I mean, other than the fact that you could not make up your mind as far as if an artist should stick with political.
I said that they don't have to. I believe they don't have to.
One question that I have to start this half off is, like, what exactly, in your opinion, makes it a political opinion? Because there's a whole lot of artists who just speak out on social topics that I think ultimately end up being a political issue.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, like, we'll start with you, Kyle, makes a song political instead of just saying, like, for example, Lady Gaga, a great majority of her first works were very much about LGBTQ rights.
So to me, that would be a social issue, right?
Right.
If you are speaking on a governmental level to about the country or about the presidency or about anything that's happening like in the upper echelon of things, that would be, to me, like a political statement, but also all the social stuff ties into all the political stuff. But like that, if you're a good example is when Kanye West just, not in a song, just said Bush doesn't care about black people, and he was openly angry.
I've never felt as bad for a person as Mike Myers. If you've seen that clip, Mike Myers literally looks like what just happened.
Yeah, and so like so that's obviously a political statement. He's directing it at somebody about something, and he was openly and visibly angry when he was saying it. Like he was using his platform to get his message across.
Right. Well, the thing that made me...
wasn't really his platform.
Yeah, we know. It was supposed to be... I can't remember. It was a fundraiser or something.
Katrina.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's actually really
George Bush didn't care about black people.
He's actually really good at using other people's platforms to do things.
That's
like the
very
Taylor
true.
Swift thing as well.
Well, the thing that got me thinking about this, the reason I was asking about it is because I spent a considerable amount of time in the past week or so listening to Gil Scott-Heron, who is amazing. Like, if you've never looked into Gil Scott-Heron, you absolutely have to. Like, you absolutely will put some on the playlist this week. A lot of what he was saying was social commentary, but it's inherently political because of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, so you take a beat poem like Whitey on the Moon is talking about more or less like we're spending all this money on all this stuff and, you know, the hood still looks like the hood, right? But that ultimately becomes more political than social to me because, I mean, you're talking about what the government is spending their money on as opposed to what they could be spending it on. So, you know what I mean?
I think all those social issues are political issues. LGBTQ stuff is political. It's because it becomes political. Yeah, it all ends up being a political issue.
Yeah, because you end up having either the right or the left saying, "Holy crap, that's wrong."
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. I know I talk about it a ton, but Michael Che special, you know, and the whole like you can be for equal rights, and that's controversial. You know, like how can that be controversial? But if an artist comes out and says, you know, like I believe in this, or they sing about I believe in this, inherently they end up upsetting one side or the other, and it ends up becoming political. I think. You know, I mean, what do you think? I mean, is there a difference, or
I feel
not
like
really?
It's a very fine line. I feel like it, like you were saying, it becomes political at some point. I just don't see how. I've been trying to form a sentence this entire time you guys have been talking, and I'm just like, but
yeah, the listeners don't know, but I just edited out 10 minutes of silence while she was thinking.
I'm writing down my sentences.
It's confusing because the political structure is what the problem is with all of the social problems.
Yes.
So if there's black people are getting killed by police because of the political structure of the police. It's not so that social issue that of what's going on in the streets is.
And there's a lot of issues that are social issues that I don't think should be political issues, like LGBTQ stuff. Like it's just like people are people. Like why is this a political thing? In my
I was
opinion,
thinking about that with race too. Like how is that
even a political thing? Like how can you not say that people get equal rights? Like I don't. So that's what I don't.
To make sure that we center this in music, I want to point out some examples. Like to this day, I'm stunned that "We Shall Be Free" by Garth Brooks was a controversial song.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like with lyrics like when the last thing we notice is the color of skin and the first thing we look for is the beauty within, and people were like, no. And I just don't. How is that? Not even something you can not like Garth Brooks all you want to, but like the message of that song, I don't understand.
Fast forward to now, and it's still exactly the same.
Yeah.
We progressed none.
I feel like
as
human
far as that
rights
goes.
should never be political. Like people should just have rights, but it's ingrained in politics. So it's a very fine line as to what you're saying. If you're singing about go F Trump and like he needs to get out of office, then that's obviously political. But a lot of things that you could be singing about that he doesn't believe in, like I don't. It's a very fine line.
Well, for me, one big example I think of as far as somebody who didn't take a stand musically, but absolutely did in their personal and professional life is the relationship between Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people know Sammy Davis Jr. had one eye, but the reason why he had one eye is because he was in a car accident, and the first hospital that they took him to was whites only, and they absolutely could have saved his eye, and they were like, no. And so when they finally
that's amazing. Amazingly ridiculous.
Well, and then there was things where like Sammy was Frank's best man in his wedding, and Frank kept changing the people were turning down Frank Sinatra's whole the chairman of the board, for crying out loud, and people were turning it down because they were like, well, you can't have a black guy be your best man. But Frank was very much an activist behind the scenes. Like he sang "Fly Me to the Moon" and all that, and never made any political statements in his music. But he was very much behind the scenes. Had a lot to say about it, and that's good too. You know, like
also that's a sign of the times. I believe. I don't feel like a lot of people during his time were actually like Elvis was not singing about politics, even though he didn't want to. But
the only one he ever did was In the Ghetto, and he even dropped that from his live set because he thought that it was being taken as too political. So, but yeah, another Rat Pack story that is amazing to me, and I think I've told you this before, but no one realizes when the Rat Pack did their Vegas performances that Sammy was not allowed in all of the backstage areas where the white artists were. And if you watch a Rat Pack show, they did a thing where they would Dean and Peter Lawford and Frank Sinatra would open the show, and then they would have like wine and food and whatever delivered to the stage, and Sammy Davis Jr. would come out from under the cart and be like, oh, sorry, I've been under there drinking or whatever. They did that because he wasn't allowed in anywhere except where the service employees were allowed. Isn't that insane?
But entertain me, though.
And the Rat Pack are headlining the Sands. And one of the members of the Rat Pack has to come in. They had to come up with a creative way to introduce him on stage. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's
another thing too. You ever see
ridiculous.
that picture of the four of them standing in front of the Sands? It's like a really famous picture. Do you know Sammy's superimposed in that picture?
No,
because he was not allowed as a black person to be on the front lawn of the Sands. The dude's name is on the goddamn marquee.
Yeah,
he's a fourth of the reason why they're selling out the shows every night and why the Sands is put on the map. And he's not allowed to stand on the front goddamn lawn.
Yeah.
You know, but the whole point of me, I just got really mad there. The whole point
As you should.
Well, the whole point of me bringing that up, though, was like, you could even point at Sinatra and be like, well, why didn't he do something about it, like with his music? Well, he didn't. He did it all outside of...
behind the scenes, yeah.
Because I guess I get what you're saying now. He wasn't a political band. Like, a person. He wasn't... That's not what he sang about. And I don't know. I think that maybe what you do outside of that is more important.
Yeah. I often wonder about that, too, how many artists are very active that we just don't know, what they're up to. And that's fine. Like, I don't need to know, I don't have to know. But I feel like if you're going to make a statement in your songs, you should absolutely back it up with action.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So my next question, and I feel like this is going to be a pretty big topic because with the way that the world works now, I cannot stand this cancel culture that we're in now, where if a person to me, let me say this, here's something that has really hit home with me in the past couple of weeks is this thing where almost everybody is afraid to say the wrong thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a friend of mine in St. Louis said to me, it's okay for you to say the wrong thing as long as you're willing to learn from it, right? The cancel culture that we have now, you don't get that chance. Like, if you say something wrong...
there's no second chance. You're fucked right away.
It's like every day on Twitter is trending fill in the blank is over party, because somebody said something wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I want to back up and be clear. I'm not saying it's okay to come out and be like, and so I hate black people. And oh, wait, that was wrong? You know what I mean? I'm like, if you use the wrong term or, and you don't know.
Yeah, I do agree with that part of it, but I do agree with if someone's going to come out and be openly racist or openly just homophobic or whatever, then fuck them.
Right? No,
so,
absolutely.
and I agree with there being businesses that are just shut down basically because everyone's like, hey, look what happened here. Like, look, this guy's an asshole. Like,
well, okay, now that's different. Like, if somebody who's like clearly not going to learn.
Yeah.
But the way that I'm tying this into music is like, if you were a new music artist coming out today, like, would that cross your mind at all? Like, if you make a statement, then you're going to lose inevitably.
I bet
you're going to lose
that
half
crosses every musician's mind now.
I wonder, because we use the example of, because I want to make sure both sides are represented. The only two I could think of, and the listeners can correct me if I'm wrong, is Kid Rock and Ted Nugent, are very, very right wing, right? You ultimately run the risk of losing half your fan base because half of them are going to be right and half of them are going to be left, right?
Yeah.
I wonder.
You're going to say wrong.
But I wonder how many right wing artists are out there that people are consuming a bunch of records that they wouldn't if they hide their opinions.
Also, if that's
Probably
what you
a lot.
stand by and you want to, you're hardcore Republican and you want to go out there and then like you should expect that not everyone's going to enjoy your music and you're going to lose fans. Like you should be like, if that's what you believe in, and great, go out there and like tell everybody about that.
Like I love Ted Nugent's music, and people have had a real problem with that. Like friends that I've had have been like, how can you support him? Well, I'm supporting him because I love the music that's on the record. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm buying that record. Kid Rock I don't listen to, not because of political views. I don't listen to Kid Rock because his music is fucking terrible.
Agreed.
You know, like, if Kid Rock made better music, like, I love Pink, and she's as left as they get, and I love her as a person, but I can't stand her music. You know, I wish she had better music. You know, I personally have never bought a record based on the artist's personal views. Yeah. But having said that, if I, you know, whatever, I don't even want to use a band's name as an example because I don't want to be, like, you know, insinuating, but we'll just say, you know, like, if I found out some band was, like, full of raging racists, I would never buy their shit ever again. Right, yeah. You know? And I would probably have a corner on the show every week where I'm like, and as a reminder, don't buy anything from that band. But I
also feel like it's a little bit like how in our personal lives, like, you have to be careful what you put on social media, like, is for your own job. You know, like, I feel like it's a lot to do with the music industry is the same. Like, you can lose your income if you say the wrong thing, and then people, you know, stop supporting you. I
think there's a lot of artists that their personal opinions are hidden, and we will never.
I just wonder, because music is so left, and I wonder if a lot of the artists that you don't hear from, it's because they don't want to say that they're
and that's
right
fine too.
Or whatever.
Like,
no, I'm fine with that.
If you, like, politics is a new thing that we discuss constantly. I feel like when you were younger, it was like no one ever discussed anything, and now we go to, like, a kid's birthday party, and the parents are like, "Did you see what Trump said on the news?" And, like, and it's just like, who are you voting for? And so
instant
I feel like,
rage.
and I feel like it's just different, and you can talk about it now, and it's more open, and people are.
There used to be a thing that was one of the two things that you never discussed with anybody is religion and politics.
Yeah, and
now it's brought up constantly. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I agree.
And that's why the party is ruined.
And that's our parties last 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what they always say. Don't discuss religion and politics at parties, and now the party of the world, party is now ruined because that's all we're talking about all the time.
And I don't even necessarily think that it's ruined. It's just that I feel like it's more normal to talk about it instead of just hiding it. Like, when I grew up, it was rude to ask somebody who you voted for, like in an election. Like, just you don't ask somebody how much they make or
now
who they voted for.
Now people will ask you on Facebook and tag you in it.
Oh, for sure. And nobody thinks it's rude, but also it's not rude if you don't answer. Like, I'm not going to be like you know, yell at you until you tell me who you voted for. But, like, people talk about it all the time. It's very different.
What I think, one thing about the whole music thing, because I talked about, you know, this has been going on for 50 years. You know, you always hear about the big protest songs of the 60s. You know, I mean, there was such a protest culture. There were even bands like The Doors where their music wasn't so much political, but, like, they were making statements about it all the time, you know? And I think there's so many artists that people don't think of political at all that are so political. And again, this is something that my mind got open to with the Rage Against the Machine thing or the Roger Waters thing. To me, it is plain as damn day that Johnny Cash is one of the most political artists that there is. Like, the prison records and, you know, his personal views, and he put them all right in the songs. And people will just drive along in their pickup truck with their Trump sticker on the back listening to Johnny Cash, and I'm like, did you not know that he's, like, very against everything you stand for?
There's a large portion of people who listen to music that I even know them who they're not lyrics. They don't listen to the lyrics. They like the beat, and they sing along, but they don't even understand what they're saying. Like, they don't hear it, right or wrong. Like, that's the people who are just like, what do you mean this is political?
That's what's crazy is I never thought of that until the Roger Waters tour, like, 2 years ago, and then this Rage thing, you know, where I'm just, and I've said this before on the show, I don't expect everybody to be me with music. Like, as soon as I bring a new record home, by the second listen, I'm dissecting the lyrics and, you know, where this bass line comes in and all that. You know, because you've dealt with this.
There's a whole lot of kids out there making music that is awful and has zero lyrical content, and they are millionaires because of it.
Yeah.
And it's because if it has a decent beat that you can nod your head to, then a lot of people don't give a shit.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I just get so surprised.
It's the same parents who don't listen to the lyrics and then get mad when their kids, you know, are singing along, and they're like, where did you learn that from?
That's
the lyrics that you love, stuff you let me listen to.
Yeah, so. That's probably all tied in, too. I didn't even think about that, like the whole PMRC.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a large portion of the same people.
Yeah. So let me say this. It's so easy just to go to, like, one or the other example, like, you know, somebody said something racist. But, like, okay, let's say that, all right, I will name an artist here just because I want to use it as a specific example for you, Michelle. Let's say tomorrow Mumford & Sons, like Marcus Mumford, tweeted something that you don't agree with. And we're not saying, like, you know, something where you're just like, well, screw you. You know, like, he just comes out and is like, by the way, I'm racist. You know, but, like, if he tweeted something that you don't agree with overall, like would that affect how you look at his music going forward?
So instantly when you said that, I was thinking, I was like, what if he came out and said that he's pro-life and I'm not, and so I'm pro-choice? I'm sure I'm friends with, and I know for sure I'm friends with lots of people who think differently than me, and I'm still friends with them, and I choose to hang out with them, and I would still choose to support him as long as I guess there's definitely a fine line, like you're saying, like racist, or you know, like gay people don't deserve rights or something like that. Like you can't say that. You know?
Well, and the reason why I say it is because again, I don't do politics personally, but Roger Waters says a lot that I agree with, and he says a whole lot I don't, but I'm not like, oh, I'm never listening to this again. Or
I can, there's a lot of things. I guess maybe if they came out and were like, no, Trump 2020, I'd be like, bye.
Right? Well, because then you're, in my opinion, when you attach yourself to a candidate, and again, this is not against Trump or his supporters or whatever, but when you attach yourself to a candidate, in my opinion, you're attaching your name to everything that candidate stands for.
Everything. Yeah, no, and I agree. And you can have your own personal opinions about who you're voting for and whatever, and that's fine. But I think like businesses and celebrities and like that's it's very different.
Yeah, I just like the whole thing where politics, I think, drive music so much, and a lot of times it instantly dates songs. You know what I mean? Like if somebody is talking about a certain issue, the song is dated in that time. You know, so even that is risky, I guess, with the art. To make it.
Do you think that like if you? So I find this in hip hop a lot, where their political views make it so their career is just not extended like you would normally have. Like there's Dead Prez or Immortal Technique. There's still like Immortal Technique's still huge, like underground, and all of his music is political. Yeah, all of it, and he just you would never.
So you think they maybe are missing a commercial opportunity,
or like
stunted?
Well, I think that he's missing a commercial opportunity on purpose because he says fuck that. He doesn't want to be a part of all that. But I think that they, in a roundabout way, the music industry has put in a kibosh on these people. Like I mean, even Mos Def and Talib Kweli and all these guys that like speak out on things, and like even Nas has a lot of his stuff is political and like racial community based. Like that's what his music is about. Yeah, and it goes away. It's like almost like it never happened. Yeah. And like, unless you bring up things like if you go and people who don't know who Dead Prez is, go Google Dead Prez or go on YouTube and listen to all their music. Every single one is about how.
Plus, if it's on Spotify, or if it's on Spotify, we can add some to the list.
Every song is about how black people get treated like shit and like fuck the man. All of them, all of it. And they like if I went and asked 5 people on the street right now who Dead Prez is, they'd be like no.
Yeah.
Well, if you asked 2 people in this room, one of them would be like no.
Yeah, right. Well, like Prince, when the Baltimore situation happened, he put out a song called Baltimore, and it got completely swept under the rug, in my opinion. Like it's like the only Prince song I know of that like no one knew when it came out. And even Michael Jackson, the same thing. Like They Don't Care About Us. That was as good of a song 25 years ago as it is now. Yeah. But it's just now getting steam.
People make jokes about like you open your mouth too much and you get the kibosh put on you, or you get taken out, like maybe Tupac or something like that. Again, all of his music was a lot of it, not all of it. A lot of it was commercial stuff, but like a lot of it's political, and they treat us like shit, like all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so then people are like, well, fuck, if I keep doing this or going in this direction, like, is my career going to go the same way?
Yeah.
But you can't. So for that, they're doing what they want to be doing, and they want to be doing political songs. But you can't throw that in a Disney movie. So like if that's what you want to be, then you shouldn't do that. But I think like.
I agree with that. But my thing is like, but people should hear these people
but
and
a lot
their
of
music.
The stuff in the Air Supply is stuff that's not political. It's stuff that you can put on the radio and that people can sing along with, and it's
right.
And so like I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like you can't be one and then expect the other thing to happen too. Like they're not going to put a song in a Bounty commercial. Like you just can't.
That's true. But so I guess my question is, how does somebody find out about Immortal Technique or Dead Prez unless they hear from somebody else who listens?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and I mean with social media a lot. there's a lot of things that they can do that's not just relying on the record label, you know. And I feel like they do. A lot of these artists are out there.
Yeah, and World Technique is actually one of the few artists that I actually follow on Facebook because it's actually him, and it's all of his stuff that he's doing with the community and like.
But they probably don't have a lot of people because people aren't going. They're not, like, for me, I'd be like, that's just not my jam. Like, even though if the music sounds good, like, that's just not something I'm going to go seek out. So, like, that doesn't make him bad or wrong or anything.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I go for. I'm not coming in for music for that. So he might not be in the mainstream because there's not a lot of people looking for that.
So let me ask you this. Are there any artists that you're surprised? Like, we touched on the Rage thing earlier. Like, me personally, I'm not only surprised, but I'm disappointed that Rage isn't doing anything at all. Again, we did touch on, I don't know what they're doing stuff behind the scenes or whatever, but I feel like they could be a very strong voice right now, and they're just choosing not to. Are there any artists that are out there that you personally are surprised are not political or don't? Like, the example of Pink. Like, Pink is like very outspoken on social media and in interviews, but then her music all sounds. This is not I didn't come up with this singer, but it's brilliant. All of her lyrics sound like you just walked through Hot Topic and wrote the T-shirts down.
Yep.
I forget. I think a stand-up comedian said that. And it's the most accurate. The most accurate burn I've ever heard. But are you surprised? Like, do you think Pink should put that in her music, or is there an artist you listen to that you're surprised isn't more political? And the same to you, Kyle. Like, if you can think of anybody. Like me personally, I'm kind of surprised that U2 like doesn't.
You know that
Bono's like whole thing is saving the world. You know,
when we first talking about politics and music, U2 and was one and Rage were the first two artists I thought about, and then I was like, but I don't. What has U2 even done lately?
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean, they were like real political up till just before the Joshua Tree, and then it was like, nope. I'm just surprised by that.
Yeah, it's
another one is like for me is and I've been outspoken about this before that there's certain people that get a length in their career and they lose fire. Like they lose the passion.
Yeah.
If Eminem's looking for something to be mad about to get the fire back, like bring me a political Eminem record, like right now. I'm surprised he hasn't done one.
Yeah, like that. Because there's songs like Mosh that he did before where he openly says "fuck Bush" in that song. Him of all
I think
people.
White America's probably the most political song he's ever done.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Didn't he do something after Trump got elected where he filmed in the train station, or he did like a one-off? Am I making that up?
I'm pretty sure you're making that up.
I don't know.
I know you and I went to the train station once. And maybe we listened to Eminem. Maybe we listened to Eminem on the way.
No.
I am surprised that because of his past is because that Kanye West hasn't said anything.
Yeah,
especially with what's going on now with all the the George Floyd stuff and all that. Like I am astonished that he hasn't opened his mouth and used his platform to still huge.
What I'm talking about is specific to music. I've gone on before about how like Axl Rose tweets don't mean anything to me. Like they equate to me to a 13-year-old girl. They matter as much. If GNR put out a political record, I would be like, all right, let me hear that.
Yeah. I would, because I like Kanye West, I would like that from him, for him to do that, because he said before. Because
a lot of what we're attracted to in these artists is how their mind works.
Yeah.
I want to hear how your mind works on this topic.
He got too caught up in attention seeking, like with him wearing a Trump 2020 hat around, or the Make America Great hat, all the shit with Trump. He caught so much shit over that that like even if he is or isn't a Trump supporter or whatever, like he's afraid to open his mouth about anything now.
Yeah, that's very possible.
So now he's just focused on the shoes, clothes, and whatever else, and not so much on the music or wanting to get political with it.
Are you over there Googling Eminem train station?
I forgot that Ludacris actually just dropped a new song a couple weeks ago.
What's it called?
It's called SOTL, Sounds of the Lambs.
Yes.
And he does get political in it a
right
little
on.
bit.
Well, that's going to go on the playlist.
Yep, he talks about Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
You said it like you had an accent. Colin Kaepernick.
The Irish football player.
But yeah, I listened to it a couple times and I forgot about it. It never came up in my when I was listening to Ludacris this week. So
well, maybe that's what you were talking about. Like they keep it out of the algorithm.
Dude, I don't know. It's weird, but there's lots of groups out there. Like I said, Nas is a hugely, though he was commercially successful. A lot of his music that you wouldn't hear is all about the social and political stuff.
Yep.
Oh,
it's weird.
We just listened to it before we got here. You said, did you know who just dropped a new single? You said, did you hear that so and so dropped a new single? And we listened to it before we got here.
I know. I know.
Anderson
Bridges.
Paak.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Leon Bridges put out a new single too.
Yes. Was that one political? I didn't.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay.
The entire thing, and so I also am impressed with the amount of people that are coming forward and doing stuff politically now.
Yeah.
Everyone is like,
I feel like I should focus on that more. Like I'm so, I don't know, zeroed in on the rage thing.
Yeah.
I should like really look around.
I literally, if you go on YouTube, there's a whole category of like Black Voices or something. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a whole category of like Black Lives Matter stuff on there now. But if you cannot go on there and without seeing all these artists that are current artists putting out all these songs having to do with all the riots and like all this stuff going, the injustice. It's impressive to me that they're all taking a stand. And
personally, I feel like the two artists that the world needs the most right now is Michael and Prince, and they're both gone. So I'm pretty mad about that.
That's true.
My son actually asked me yesterday. Well, my son said two things yesterday. Number one, we were listening to history, so this time around came on, and when Biggie's first started, I said, do you know much about Biggie? And he said no. And so I said, well, okay, so there was this rapper named Tupac, and he goes, I know who Tupac is. I was like, my bad. And then proceeded to tell me about the beef, and I was like, go on ahead, 14-year-old. But my son asked me, he said, what do you think Michael Jackson would be doing with everything going on in the world? And I was like, well, this is sad to say, but 3 weeks ago he would have written an amazing song that we would all be bonding together over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's exactly what he would have done. It would have happened at least 3 weeks ago. But we're in the situation that we're in, so we got to look to the artists that we do have.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff coming out now from a bunch of different artists.
Yep.
That everyone should check out.
So this was every bit as a spirited discussion as I thought it was going to be. I like me personally, it's so weird for me because, as you know, like I don't politic, but it's very much in. One of my favorite artists of all time. It is very known for being a political artist. So for me, it's kind of funny. I'm totally in the middle on the subject. So and I know that you both have like very strong opinions on the whole situation. So in any case, this has been fun for us, and as always, we're going to put a lot of these artists that we've talked about on our Spotify playlist. And so that'll be out Monday for everybody along with the new episode. And as always, I always talk about if you would like to support the show in any way, shape, or form, the best way to do that for us is to go to anchor.fm/infectiousgroove podcast, hit the support button, and pledge to support us for you can do it for as low as $1 a month, and it really helps us out, so we appreciate that. I hate to be Axl Rose about it, but we promise the website is coming soon.
It is.
It will not take as long as Chinese democracy.
No.
We both look right at Kyle.
Yeah. Someday we're going to end up like doing streams with the show, and people are going to see like the dirty looks that flow. So anyways, as we leave out on this one, we are going to discuss next week music and commercials, which will be another pretty spirited discussion. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.